is also something that is strong with something that is weak. If this is the pound, the weakness in the pound, then I want to take the weak currency, which is the pound, and I want to look it against another strong currency, and in this case would be the Australian dollar. And look at this, that is the sell-off that we had in the pound versus the Aussie on Friday. I mean, these are the 2 days that matched the accumulation that we had in the or the sell-off, if you will, that was in the Australian dollar. But as soon as that selling stopped, the pound capitulated. I mean, the move in the pound Aussie on Friday was, the high was 154.89 or 88 to 152.22. You had 250 pip move. That swing in Friday, the pound Aussie came down. Look at this, 250 pips between Tokyo and the end of, and right now it closed right again near the low of the day. So if that is your major trend all the way that happened, and it closed below the low of the day before, and it closed below the market side and at the low of the day, so this thing is extremely negative. We should be looking for, again, a continuation to the downside. And as you see, I don't know who was asking why we do that. Now, whenever you identify something like this, then your trade becomes an easy trade to identify. It's so easy to plan, and it's so easy to identify, because everything now is structured correctly. So if this is the way, I'm looking for a continuation to the downside, and these are my reference point, my lows. So my selling point is going to be here. I'm going to short below the 152.50, and if I do that, I'm placing my stop right above the, let's say, the market side. The market size 152.80, so I'll just give it a little bit of room of 153. And if I'm going to buy it, I need a structural point. I need somewhere to tell me that this thing is changing the trend, and this here is my structural point. So my buying is going to be above the 154. So there is no reason for me to jump in to buy the pound and sell the Australian dollar unless it gets above the 154. So as I said, this is an easy trade, right, because we have identified the strength. And if you look at the chart, the daily chart, we had just had a bounce from the historical low of the British pound versus the Aussie. Take a look at this here. I want to show you something again, because this is how important it is to identify strength or weakness. See how this is the low, the lowest point in history between the British pound and the Australian dollar. If you look at the pound dollar, this thing was going up above the 162.66. This has been in a major move to the upside. And now, because now the pound is weak and the dollar is weak, as we know, that move, with this big move to the upside, that dollar Aussie is at its lowest point. Therefore, the odds are for a continuation to a further decline, and we should be looking for the Aussie to, for the dollars to continue to, for the pound to continue to go down. And again, by looking and identifying those strengths and weaknesses, you can place yourself on the right side of the market. So as I said, we are going to be buyers above the 154, we are going to sell it below the 152.50. I'm going to place my stop on the short side above the 153, and if I'm going to buy it at 154, I have to place my stop right here, which is 153.20. So let's put the numbers. I'm going to go long above the 154.04, and I'm only going to go short below 152. I think it was 20, I'm not sure. Let me double check the number. 52.50, I'm sorry. Okay, and if I go short below 152.50, my stop on the short side is going to be 152.8, 152.90. I give it 10 pips. The market side is 152.84, so I'm just going to give it 6 pips above the market side. If I'm going to go long above 154, then I'm going to place my stop below 153.19 or 153.20. My structural point long to the upside is the 158.34, which is still as is, it has not changed. My structural short is the all-time low. My structural short is the all-time historical low, which has as low as it has got, which is 151.38. Which is this one, which we already have from the last time. Okay, so this is the pound Aussie. We're going to go long above 154.04, and if we do, my structural long is 158.34, so we have 400 pips before any potential trend change in the pound Aussie. And if I do buy it at 154.40, my stop is going to be 153.19, so I'm risking about 80 pips on that trade. I will go short below 152.50, and if I do, I'm going to place my stop above the 152.90, and my structural short is the all-time historical short, which again is as lowest as the weakest point in the between the pound Aussie, which is the 151.38. Okay, that is the pound Aussie. Let me save that, and